Hey guys, welcome to LALoveCreative, and today we're talking about the best portrait lens for your Sony camera, the Batis 135 or the Batis 85mm lens. Drop the intro. I did recently a review on this Sigma 135, and I know you didn't see it because you don't like my, is it my face? You don't like my face. I get that a lot. So recently I did a video on the Sigma 135mm lens. Awesome lens, great optics, decent autofocus, great quality for the price, and an overall pretty good lens for the A7 III or just Sony cameras in general. My only issue I had with the 135 Sigma art lens was it was very heavy, and for the type of work I do, which is run and gun, photography, also documentary and fashion videos, and I felt like the Sigma 135 was too heavy to hold in your hands the whole day. For me, I know that optics are very important, but for me, ease of use kind of trumps a lot of things. I like to have a camera on me all the time. And for me, I found when I was using the 135, I kept putting the camera down. And I know how everyone feels. Every photographer on there probably knows, and videographer knows, as soon as you put your camera down, that's when some really great stuff happens and you miss it. I felt like I was putting the camera down too much with the 135 because it felt too heavy. So in my search for the best telephoto portrait lens for the Sony A7 III, I stumbled across the Batis 135 and also the Batis 85mm. Now the Batis line of lenses are not perfect. There is no perfect lens. Let's just be real. Let me break that down right now. No perfect camera, no perfect lens. But I feel like the Batis lineup is a good alternative to the G Master lineup, with them being a little bit, like, not much more affordable. And for me, lightweight. I found that the Batis 135 and the Batis 85 were significantly lighter than the Sigma lineup of E-mount lenses. One thing I love about the Batis lenses, just in general, are the build quality. They have optical steady shot inside the lenses. They have a LCD screen on the lenses so you can kind of see your focusing. Now, when it comes to optics, the G Master, the Batis, and the Sigma all have quality glass. All of these lenses are quality. They all have great contrast. They're all very sharp lenses. Just overall great images come from the Batis, the G Master, and also the Sigma art lenses. And that's my main point. One thing that I loved about the Batis lenses when I was using them on the shoot that I was doing is I never felt like I had to compromise quality for the ease of use. I need a 135 that's lightweight, that I can take around and shoot weddings, shoot commercial work, shoot fashion, and just be a hybrid filmmaker, photographer, and just be able to do a lot of different things. And what I loved about the Batis lineup is I never felt like I was sacrificing quality for, affordability, somewhat affordability, or ease of use. Now, one of the major reasons why I would pick the Batis 135 and the Batis 85 over particularly the G Master lineup is cost. Now, the Batis lenses are not entirely cheap, but I'd have to say compared to the Sony G Master 135, that's about $1,900. The Batis 135 is about $1,500. So you save a little bit of money right there. The Batis 85mm is about $1,000, and the G Master equivalent is about $1,500. So you're saving a good amount of money with the Batis lineup. One thing that I would say about the Batis 85 over the Batis 135 is if you're in a close situation, I found when I was using the Batis 135, I couldn't really get as further away as I wanted just to get the portraits that I wanted. So that's something to keep in mind, that when you're using the Batis 85, you can get, a little closer to your subject. When you're using the Batis 135, you're gonna have to get really further away, and that could put a damper on, your location and the type of shots you're trying to get. Now, one thing I did notice about the Batis 85 is for the price point, which is about $1,000, you could get the Sony 85mm lens, which I have, and you'd probably be okay. The Sony 85mm, which is around $600, has gone toe-to-toe on many YouTube videos. People have compared it with the G Master equivalent, and a lot of times no one can tell the difference. One of the major things that I would have to say, that if you're really considering the Batis lineup over the G Master or something like that, or the Sigma lenses, you have to remember that the Batis lenses, the 135 and the 85, are 2.8 lenses. To me, that's not the biggest deal breaker, but there have been multiple situations where 2.8 just didn't cut it for a lot of the live type event, like wedding coverage or nighttime photography or videography. And a lot of times I wish I had a 1.4 or 1.8 aperture. So if that's something that's really a big deal for you, then I would really consider the G Master or the Sigma lenses, because they have a faster f-stop. And that's all I have to say about the Batis 135 and the Batis 85mm lens. If you have any questions on these lenses, or any questions about videography or photography, hit us up in the comments below, and I will see you next time. See you later.